Before the tragic events with Julia, were you as interested in purpose? Has this always been a life mission that got
No,
incorporated after this, or
it
was there
wasn't.
a life shift for you?
It was a huge life shift. So first, when she got sick, when she was 1 year old, and I was an assistant professor, just just doing fine actually. I was writing grants, I was writing journal articles, I was teaching, I was doing all the things to get tenure, and then I'm going, great, then I'll golf more, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like what a good gig this is, and I'm pretty good at it. And when she got sick, I realized, well, she taught me about the finiteness of life and the importance of it. Sounds so trite, Andy, when I even say it, but living each day as if that might be your last. But when you do that, when you start living as if you're not going to live forever, you start living differently. Marcus Aurelius talked about this, 2,000 years ago. He said, don't live your life as if you're going to live 10,000 years. While you're alive, do good things. And that to me, what we call in psychology, mortality salience, you need to be thinking about this. Steve Jobs was giving the commencement address at Stanford University. He was dying when he was doing that, and he knew it. And he said, you know what? Death is the single greatest invention of life. It's life's change agent. And
Mm,
and imagine those Stanford people, the leaders, amazing, brilliant people, and they're
yeah.
all going, "Wow, I can't wait to become a private equity specialist or invent this new, gizmo or new company, start it up."
Feeling
Whatever.
totally
They're all
invincible. Yep.
invincible. And then he's going, death is life's change agent. It's the single best invention of life. What is he talking about? But that's a person who thought a lot about death. And in thinking about that, what we never like to think about or go to movies and watch the hero actually die. In fact, usually they somehow miraculously come back, because we can't stand to buy a ticket to watch a movie that we know the hero is going to die, but we do end up dying. And so, how do we live this life a little more seriously as if this isn't just a practice life? That's what Julia did for me. It changed me. Before then, I wasn't taking my life seriously, or with any sort of urgency to it. And as a result, I was kind of sleepwalking through life. And life was black and white, and now it is technicolor. And it has been since I started living that way.
Wow. In college, I met a group of guys that introduced me to the phrase frater memento mori, brother, remember thy death. And
Yeah, right. Yeah.
one night we dug our own graves symbolically. Like,
Really? Really?
yes, and
Oh
it
my gosh.
really moved me because up until that point in my life, I was just blowing with the breeze, essentially chasing whatever pleasure was closest at
Sure.
hand.
Right. Yeah.
And that changed my whole paradigm and uh, influences me 18 years later today. I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Talking to your freshman students about writing their epitaph and thinking about the end. I've never heard
Yeah.
someone say it like you. Like I've heard the chapter of your book. There's different seasons of life, different chapters of the book. But at the end, what do you want the New York Times summary to say? It's people avoid it like they avoid trust planning and estate planning because they think if you do it, you'll die. And it's actually the opposite. Once you do that, you're taken care of, and now you can live, baby.
Now you live. Thank you, Andy. You've nailed it. That's exactly the case.